What were you expecting? Were you expecting that he was going to pull a rabbit right out of his butt and say, here, look at this? No, no. He came up with something that everybody is interested in.
But this is a pretty big casting. It's pretty,
it's
not as big as that one.
So is this like 8,000 tons?
No, this is actually a 6,500 ton. The rear,
Are you kidding me?
The rear is 9,000 tons. Yeah.
How? Okay, so
Get ready to explore the explosive automotive world of innovation as we uncover a surprising revelation from Tesla's lead design team in a recent interview with Sandy Munro regarding the Cybertruck. Munro, known for his meticulous teardowns and brutal honesty, are initially met with criticism and skepticism from general viewers, and that goes for the same when it comes to the Cybertruck, but with this latest jaw-dropping revelation, it's got him singing Tesla's praises.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we start talking about your boron or high-strength steel here?
Yeah.
I already asked a couple of questions about whether you're using tailor-welded blanks and stuff like that. So if you can just, let everybody know what's going on.
Sure. So, I mean, when you look at the Cybertruck, everyone thinks about the skin and how tough it is, and we can talk about that and whatnot. But the other cool part of the exoskeleton is actually this door ring. It's the world's largest door ring. Hot stamp door ring. We do it in-house with a tailor welded blank, and there's no body side outer, right? There's no skin over this. This is the A surface or the B plus surface that's on the door inner. And, it's simply coated with a black powder just for aesthetics, basically. So we're looking at, a clean surface here, but it's high strength boron steel, single piece inner and single piece inner and outer. And then we just spot weld it together. And we do that down here at the south end of Giga, Texas, because we had to, much like our castings, we had to make the press.
Yeah. Well, stamping press of this, whose did you buy? Schuler's or? Schuler?
So we have two different brands. We have Schuler and AP&T, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So if I was going to do it, that's who I'd pick. Mainly because I can get the tonnage and the reliability. Mm-hmm. So that would be my first choice. So at the end of the day, I noticed there's you've got sealant in here, mm-hmm. and then I feel I can feel spot welds, but I don't know what they're spot welded to. So this would be,
well, the door ring ends here, right?
Okay,
and
so that's where
here, and this triangle is an extension, just
okay.
like there. So this is actually
this
the door
would be
ring
the
inner.
shotgun under.
Yeah, this is typical shotgun, right?
Yeah.
And then our casting starts here, right?
There's been recent buzz in the automotive industry, and it's all about the Cybertruck. The buzz is centered around an unexpected revelation that might have slipped under the radar, but holds the key to Tesla's manufacturing prowess in a world where innovation reigns supreme. This groundbreaking revelation shows how Tesla's approach to casting, backup tooling, and production numbers is setting them apart in the race to produce hundreds of thousands of vehicles annually. It's a strategy that could send shockwaves through the industry, possibly leaving the almighty Ford F-150 Lightning trembling in its tracks. So what is this big revelation? How is the game going to change when it comes to Tesla? Let's find out.
But this is a pretty big casting. It's pretty,
it's
not as big as that one.
So is this like 8,000 tons?
No, this is actually a 6,500 ton. The rear,
Are you kidding me?
The rear is 9,000 tons. Yeah.
How? Okay, so how
it's
did
just
you
about
keep it
flow,
together?
Right? Like you gotta, like when you think about tonnage, it's about how much metal you're moving within
right.
the platen size and how fast you're moving it. But you can restrict that metal flow by like making bad, feeds in bad directions. But when you look at the side, the flow, the biscuit comes in through the middle right there.
Yeah.
And then we flow it all out, and we do it like a river, because like liquid metal wants to move like a river. A lot of times when you see these people copying us, and maybe I'm giving it away stuff, but it's an engineer drew it, right? And they drew triangles and trusses. Yeah. Right. But here at Tesla, we have in-house die designers that sit right next to the guys that are designing the castings, and they're going back and forth on simulations so that we can lower the tonnage of the presses we're using by integrating the design of the part into the design of the tool. Which is why we don't need necessarily 8,000 ton press for the front. When we started, we thought we would. We said, oh, you're gonna need 8,000 tons. But we worked through the team, and we actually can make this front one on the same equipment as we make the Model Ys.
That's
not the rear one.
That's amazing.
The rear one's too big.
Yeah, well.
Helps with cycle time too, right?
Yeah, it does help the cycle time because you get more even cooling across the whole thing.
Well, that's the big thing, cooling and warpage. Everybody asks the same question. I mean, how much does this warp? And And I said, well, it happens so quickly, it shouldn't warp at all. But
yeah, I mean, it's really about how long we cool it in the die, and you let the
Yeah.
skin cool, and then when you pull it out, we don't have straighteners or anything.
So how many presses are pushing these out now?
We have one for the front, 2 for the rear, but we, as I said, we have the Model Y ones.
Yeah.
So we have 4 of those.
Swap them
We can
out.
swap the die out. But we only need 2. Like cycle times are down enough to make, 5,000. We only need 2 presses, one for front and one for rear.
So at the end of the day, 5,000. Do you bother with backup tooling then?
Yeah,
Or-
we swap the tools out.
Three sets of dies?
So at least 2. If we're running 1, then we have 1 backup. Otherwise, we'll have 2 in and 1 backup, and we'll rework the 1 while we're running the other 2. And when casting machines go down, they go down hard,
Yeah.
right? And so you got to get the tool out and get a new one in quick.
Right. Yeah.
And so we always have a backup die, or it's not even really a backup. It's like we cycle them, right? We're just rotating and maintaining.
Sandy Munro's always been a bit skeptical about Cybertruck's unorthodox design, unconventional materials, and, let's be honest, questionable aesthetics. But then again, something interesting has happened. Munro started dissecting the Cybertruck layer by layer, and he found something that was pretty surprising.
So maintaining, I would have thought, well, it depends on, I don't know enough about this aluminum to really, I mean, we did an analysis on it, but I've never worked with anything quite as exotic as this. So what kind of, aluminum is nasty for molds. It's very corrosive and whatnot. And so how much time are you spending then on?
Well, how we do it is we have inserts in the high heat zones.
Yeah.
And we have those inserts, and they might be coated with like a nickeloid coating or something on it to prevent that damage from that local area. And then we have our own in-house die shop. So if that area is getting weak, we'll just replace it with a different insert.
A new
and then the platen is really what lasts hundreds of thousands of shots.
Right.
And we may be maintaining the inserts every couple months, every 6 months, but we are making a lot of dies, which is why we made our own die shop.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah, a lot of people. Most people are using co-stamp, I guess. With their puzzle molds, which I don't quite understand. But anyways, that's where most people are going. And if you're doing it in-house, this is what made.
You like these?
Yeah, I do.
So what's cool about these ones on Cybertruck? They're actually tapered because we didn't want to machine this.
Yeah.
So there's no machining for the holes or anything.
Yeah, so you just shove them in.
So we just twist them in self-tapping and they're tapered. And we have the external for the bigger ones, and then some of them are internal for the smaller ones. But.
And these ones here look like they're going to get
These
a
are self-tapping,
just
self-tapping
self-tapping ones. And this is the way to make it work. I didn't know you were doing inserts.
I mean, that's just really about
high
torque
strength.
retention.
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to Tesla Tomorrow. The Cybertruck is brimming with futuristic features, from its adaptive air suspension to its mind-blowing towing capacity. Sandy Munro was particularly marveled at the giga castings, massive single pieces that form the Cybertruck's underbody, reducing complexity and weight. And the shocking revelation he got from Tesla's lead design team had the car expert in disbelief. This revelation is centered around Tesla's remarkable capabilities, not only in terms of design, but also when it comes to the assembly line too. The automaker's ability to swiftly iterate and adapt due to physical proximity sets them apart from other traditional approaches when it comes to making cars. And it's one of the key reasons why Tesla remains a formidable force, outpacing legacy automakers. Before we carry on though, if you're liking this type of content, hit that like button, subscribe and turn on post notifications to keep up to date on everything going on with Tesla. As most of you are probably going to know, the gigacasting is a substantial casting, although not quite as large as some others, with a tonnage of 6,500 for the front and 9,000 for the rear. However, the fascinating aspect here is how Tesla manages the metal flow. Unlike other attempts where engineers simply draw designs with triangles and trusses, Tesla's in-house die designers work in close collaboration with casting designers, and it results in simulations that optimize part designs to reduce the required press tonnage.
There's a couple of things that people don't quite understand, and one of them is how do these things crash and blah, 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 and let's just swing over there.
One of the things on the crushability, Sandy, and I'm sure you've seen, is we have different size fins from front to rear.
Right, yeah.
So we have controlled chaos in the crushing. You can see it even here, like how these build up. And that's so that we know this is going to break first, that section's smaller, the ribs are lower, and then this will get second, because each one is progressively stronger.
Right. So what is this thing based on? What sort of
Physics?
Either math or sorry, mass, I should say, or speed or what have you.
I mean, the rear crash, of course, we're trying to absorb 305, which is like a 50-mile-per-hour rear crash. But like really this structure is based on the like primary vehicle design, all the suspension loads go through here.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get our torsional stiffness from this. We're also supporting the bed loads, it's 2,500 pounds, and the towing loads, which is 11,000 pounds. And they all go through here. When you put all that math together, right, then you end up with sort of like an elegant load path structure of trying to get back to our nodes at the batteries and the corners and from back here. Then the crash really just becomes a fallout of how do I keep that stiffness where I need it for all those loads to be distributed. And then what can I absorb, when I get hit from behind. But crash is actually the simple part of these designs now.
Yeah. Well, for me, I bent the daylights out of the Model 3 when I hit it with a sledgehammer. And granted, that's an 18-pound sledge.
Yeah. That's
not the kind of thing you normally swing around. And I didn't have good access. When I hit the other castings, like the Model 3 casting or Model Y castings, I mean, it just bounced off. And in the in the movie or video or whatever, I swung down and hit the shock tower, and the damn thing came popping right back. And then I found out that my knee didn't like it. So, but there was no damage whatsoever. And I'm thinking that this is less likely to crack or break or do whatever than if I have a bunch of welded sheet metal together.
Yeah, I mean, certainly it's more homogeneous, and it's quite ductile despite its appearance, and so you get a lot of flash.
Tesla has a back-up tooling too, a feature that Sandy Munro was particularly impressed by. It turns out that Tesla maintains 3 sets of dies, and at least 2 are in use at any given time if the truck is running. And they're able to keep another one as a backup, and they're also able to rework the die when the other 2 are in operation. Now, this precaution is necessary because when casting machines break down, they do so abruptly and without warning. And so to keep the production line going, they've got to swiftly switch out the tools. Also, Tesla's design engineer further explained that when a casting machine goes down without a backup, it can have serious consequences for production. The thing is, though, removing a faulty part and inserting a new one promptly can be a hassle, so these engineers always need a backup die on hand, or they recycle them, continuously rotating and maintaining dies to ensure seamless production. Now, what sets Tesla apart from their ability to seamlessly integrate the designs into the casting and design of a machine that manufactures it is quite shocking, and this level of synergy is at the core of the automaker's success with Cybertruck. While anyone can create a prototype of the truck, the real challenge lies in mass production, and Tesla's mastered this, ensuring that each component fits perfectly without the need for any costly adjustments down the line. The Cybertruck is powerful, durable, and versatile, and it can handle any adventure, and this is because it's a truck that has supercar-level power. Tesla equipped the truck with an adaptive air suspension system, allowing drivers to adjust ride height according to their needs. Whether it's tackling rough terrain or optimizing aerodynamics for highway driving, this feature ensures a smooth and comfortable ride in any situation. But that's not all. It also boasts impressive acceleration thanks to its powerful electric motors. And it has a type of construction that can handle extreme conditions and rough terrain without breaking a sweat.
This beast, deliveries. Talk to me about how transformational this might be for the company.
It's a historic moment. I mean, it's 4 years in the making, and I think the reason it's important in terms of this could be another growth vehicle for Musk and Tesla, and it also just shows what's happened. 313 area code, GM, Ford peeling back a little on EVs. Tesla is doubling down, and I think this is an important moment. And you go back over the years, many times been counted out, but yet they've come out in a flex the muscles moment.
I want to talk margins a little bit more with you, but just on the point you made, bringing up GM and Ford, are we finding out that people just want Teslas, they don't want EVs?
Look, I think it's a serious question here because, wanting an EV versus do you actually just want a Tesla? And I think you're starting to see now a moderation in terms of EV demand. Now, clearly, Tesla's had the price war that we've talked about in China. That's definitely, left a bit of a stain. But I do think from a scale and scope perspective, you look at Fisker reducing guidance again today, no one could match the scale and scope of Musk and Tesla. And I think that lead continues to further be there. And I think that's what's happened, a little humble pie maybe with traditional automakers.
Well, John Lawler was on yesterday, CFO of Ford, and he was talking about how there was a different audience for the initial Teslas because it was the first adopters. And they were willing to pay a price premium, and they were willing to come in, and they were Tesla adopters. The ones who are coming in now are looking for price, value, quality, et cetera. It is a different pool where that can be pulled away more aggressively. In that kind of environment, does Tesla's margin story start to get eroded?
I think, and John talked about it, I think that's, right now, that's the balancing act. Because if you look from a margin perspective, it's really been volume over margins. In the street, so far, that's been the right strategy. Next 2-3 quarters, you need to see margins trough out, level out here. But when you look at Cybertruck, look, essentially, they'll be losing, let's say, $30,000, $40,000 per vehicle for the next year and a half. Then it starts to become profitable. But that is the near-term pain for long-term gain that they need to do in what continues to be this green tidal wave.
The Cybertruck's exoskeleton is one other technological marvel. It's made from stainless steel that's ultra strong, and it eliminates the need for a traditional body structure, simplifying production and improving durability. Remember those bulletproof glass demos that went awry? Well, it turns out that they were just prototypes, and the real deal is practically impenetrable. Even Munro said compared it to medieval knight's armor, and that's pretty cool. But it's not just the tech wizardry that's got Munro smitten. The car expert sees the Cybertruck as a revolution, a challenge to the conventional gas-guzzling pickup world. It's a statement, a testament to pushing boundaries and reimagining what a truck can be. And Munro, a man who spent his career tinkering with and improving cars, can't help but admire the audacity. But while we do admit the interesting tech behind Cybertruck is right there in front of us, we can't help but wonder how many of these trucks Tesla can produce. Can the car company do it at a large scale? Well, Tesla has hinted at a target of 5,000 units per week for the truck, which means that the automaker is aiming to roll out 5,000 trucks weekly, encompassing both the rear and front gigacastings. Now, this estimate is taking into account some downtime over the year, and assuming they've got 50 weeks of active production, that means that they might be hitting 10,000 units a week, except for times when they've got to take a machine out of service for maintenance. So if we consider an average of 7,500 units per week, this pushes Tesla's yearly Cybertruck production up to the range of 300 to 350,000 units annually, as opposed to the initially projected 250,000. But there's more. There's also a suspicion brewing that Tesla might actually have a second Cybertruck in production ready to go up on the line, which means that people might have placed their orders and put down money for a Cybertruck, and they might not get their hands on it before the end of 2024. But this puts Tesla in an enviable position when it comes to Cybertruck production, and it shows how huge the competition is brewing for the F-150 Lightning. Owners of that car should be a bit jittery right now, as Ford recently revised their estimated production numbers from 160,000 to 880,000 units for 2024. But the kicker is that Tesla could easily hit 75,000 to 80,000 Cybertrucks next year.
I believe, I get it, it's on the edge, but I think it's innovative, it's new, and it's something where Tesla is not going to go down the typical path of other automakers. And that's why, look, when I see you driving this in New York about 6-9 months from now.
TK in the passenger seat.
TK in the passenger
Amazing.
seat. It's with Cybertruck, it's going to be
Can you take
awesome.
the roof off? The roof come off?
But you could be in the back as well. So it's going to be super interesting.
It might not be perfect, but we think Tesla has truly woven magic with the Cybertruck. And it's not surprising considering it comes from the groundbreaking tech when it comes to Tesla, the auto industry. Tesla's always at the forefront, and the Cybertruck has captured the attention of car enthusiasts, practically those that appreciate audacious design, cutting-edge engineering, and something outside the status quo. But let's not forget its cutting-edge features like autopilot and over-the-air updates, and they make for driving safer and more convenient than ever before. Overall, the truck is like none other. It's a revolutionary design with advanced tech and unmatched capabilities, and it's a game changer in the automotive industry. So buckle up, because this is just a glimpse into what the future of transportation looks like, and the whole world is about to be taken by surprise. What do you think? Let us know down below, and if you want to know more about what Tesla's been up to over the last few days, go ahead and click on this next video on your screen. See you there.